trying to ball like Big 4, then get out the gym. Monday through Friday from 7 to 9. When you see that notification, we about to go live. Hit this track and do you dance like you Karen Lacey. Run it Valentine Matthew to the house, baby. It's Tingle and Co. From 7 to 9. Come keep with the show. It's a new era. Let's get it, let's go. From 7 to 9. It's Tingle and Co. From 7 to 9, come keep with the show. It's a new era. Let's get
You're live, Noah.
All right. How's everybody doing? Lloyd, how are you, my friend? Thank you for getting us all set up.
Thank you, sir. I'm spoiled, you know? I forget sometimes after our key debacle at the last stop. I just gave Noah the key, and I also got a key, but then I show up, and I'm like, Noah's not here. So I had to run back home, so sorry for the delay. Noah is in a different time zone. And I guess, did you hear? I guess you would have known the news before all of us, because that's how time works, right?
No, I don't believe. But I think I was a little late to it due to some airplane. It was my flight plans and travel plans ended up being a headache yesterday, but made it happen. I'm here in Denver, Colorado, and the weather's great. It was a little chilly when we got out of the airport last night, but the weather is great out here, and the Airbnb is very nice, so we're hanging out. We're feeling good. But I did see the news yesterday. There's a lot of news yesterday, a lot of discourse. It was kind of a bad day to be on a plane when you're covering LSU sports, which I think every day is probably a bad day to be on an airplane when you're covering LSU the way things have been transpiring as of late. Good morning, everybody that's in the chat this morning that's hanging out with us. We appreciate you. But yes, it is 6:11 my time over here, so it's a little early. But
we're not late, we're early.
Yeah, there you go. It was one of these days where you couldn't pass up. We can't not have a show and discuss what went on, because yesterday was a relatively big day and some big news, huh?
Yeah, I would say so. Of course, like, we were relatively not confident in the ability to, like, maybe if nothing breaks, we don't have, we'll let Noah for one day get a day off, Lloyd maybe get a day off. No. Just when you think you couldn't do anything dumber, you totally do something even dumber. You don't even redeem yourself. And that is where we are right now, and I'm sure we will get into it, because I hate doing the Politico show, but when they cross streams like this, we are two men pissing in the urinal at the same time, and we're just playing sports and politics.
Yeah, no, I mean, look, and I was telling my dad, we were on the phone yesterday, and when he was bringing me to the airport, I was like, I didn't sign up to be on CNN or Fox News or any of these other channels. Like, this isn't the job that I have to do. I just want to talk about sports. I want to talk about football, basketball, baseball, all the whatever. But as of right now, it is a very politically charged time around LSU football, and that's where my concern lies. It's not in really many specifics in general. It's more so just about the manner in which these things are going down. The fact that it is extremely politically charged around this job opening, and that leads to my fear or concern around the likelihood of other people looking at this job and being as viewing it as well and as highly as it would have been viewed prior. Because I thought, when you looked at where this job was on Monday, Tuesday into Tuesday night, I mean, it's the best job in the country. And I still think that there's that thought process and that mindset around the LSU job now, but it's not viewed in the same manner. And if you didn't see Ross Dellinger's article, his write-up that he put out yesterday, he's going to join us sometime next week to discuss kind of this whole movie. Essentially, this whole deal that's been playing out for LSU. He put together something really good yesterday, talking about just kind of the mess it is and the way it's portrayed and viewed elsewhere. And I think when you look at the LSU job right now, it's in a very politically charged atmosphere, and that's my sole concern, really. It's not about anything specific that the governor is saying. Like, there's some things he's saying, like the conflict of interest between agents. I don't know the full dynamic of it, but when you look at it on paper, yeah.
No, you can't believe anything that's coming out of his mouth. He's totally doing the most political spin job of all time. Look, that's no secret. I'm still a bum that lives with his parents. It's on the fucking channel every day, Fox News. All you hear is blah, 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 blah. And you can put it on any channel, blah, blah, blah. It's just to spin a narrative. He doesn't know either. Like, nobody can find out. That's what I'm saying. It's like this whole thing from where, like, from its genesis, when he goes on. Yeah, I mean, I put out a tweet yesterday, like, Glenn Gilbo was the only sports reporter. We sent a buddy out here. The only sports reporter there, and he gets clearly planted to lob hey, let's turn this into it's supposed to be a political thing, right? Like, this has nothing to do with sports. He gets the ability to heel turn because he plants Gilbo there to be able to ask him a question about the athletic director and his involvement in the coaching search. And that's where this whole thing started. Like, people were saying, oh, you should be able to, like, deflect the question. No, he wanted that question asked specifically so he could do this. He is railroading LSU athletics just for his own personal gain.
And I think that's the dynamic in the situation that is the biggest concern. Because like I was saying about the agents, like, I think that it's odd, that your quarterback and your head coach and your AD can all have the same agent. Like, when you look at it on paper, it's like, yeah, that's a little weird. We've talked about it on the show, talking about the dynamic between Nuss and BK and how the agent soap opera can play a factor in it. And so there are parts of it, but at the same time, there's a manner in which you go about these things. But what you are witnessing is a governor that obviously very much wants to be not only involved, but so public about it, where he's going on a press tour. I mean, he's on the Pat McAfee show yesterday. He follows it up going on Moscona's show yesterday evening. And he's been very vocal about things on Twitter. And I think when you look at this situation in any manner, obviously there's concerns about it just from the standpoint of LSU athletics of, like, okay, who's actually in control? But as of right now, you're in a place where the governor of the state is going on this press tour and speaking in these things while you have a head coaching vacancy. And so when he's saying things about agents or saying things about contracts, and that they're not going to spend all this money, like, how appealing is that to the guys that we think LSU should be in the running for? You know, like, this is viewed as the best job in the country, one of them, the best job that's open right now. And so in turn, that should mean you should get some of the top guys when it comes to coaching, prospects. And when you think about those top guys, one thing you don't want to call out their agent, and you don't want to be upfront and honest to tell the whole country you're not going to pay them, and that they need to bet on themselves and take less money, and then you can make more with incentives. Like, when I look at that, if I'm Lane Kiffin and I'm sitting at Ole Miss, there's a debate between which job is better right now, the way Ole Miss has bought in, and I'm hearing that LSU's going to make me bet on myself and take less money to try and be more successful. Like, then I'll just stay here. You know, like, when I look at the way some of these things are set out in the public, that's my concern, is that there are things that are putting LSU behind the eight ball and not making it as appealing of a job. And so that's where the concern comes in, is that it's so politically charged from the standpoint of the governor, where he wants to be at the forefront of this. Like, as much as he's saying that he doesn't want to be involved in the coaching, all he cares about is the taxpayer. If you don't want to be involved in these things, you don't go on the Pat McAfee show, which is the biggest sports show in America right now, and do a publicity stunt there. And then you go on a local radio. Like, you don't continue to get in front of the camera and behind the microphone if you don't want to be involved in this. And that's where the concern is, that it feels so politically charged, where you look at, now back to the firing of William Tate, or not the firing of William Tate leaving. Like, you look at that under a different, I think we looked at it under that light when it happened, but now if you didn't, you're looking back at that differently. You're looking at the firing of Brian Kelly. Obviously, the discussion was had in the governor's mansion, which he's admitted to. He's saying that it was just to make sure that Louisiana didn't have to foot the bill. But the conversation with Brian Kelly was done in the governor's mansion. So now it's Tate, that's Kelly, and then ultimately now Scott Woodward yesterday agrees to leave LSU, or separate from LSU. with his buyout being around $6 million. And the thing with Scott Woodward, and Dellinger wrote about it in his article, because I think the thing that shines the brightest light on this Woodward situation is if he was just fired for the Kelly contract and the way that went down, I believe it would be different. That's not the case. You can't look at this Woodward situation and say, well, he was just fired because of the way that the contract went. Because you saw Dellinger wrote about it in his article, and people have spoken about it, the discourse and the disconnect between Landry and Woodward, whether it started with Omar the Tiger, when Landry was dead set on getting Omar into Tiger Stadium, Woodward and Tate say no, Landry does it anyway. And then it rolls into Landry wants to bring Wade back. And obviously Woodward didn't want to do that, had Matt McMahon, and obviously he was a part of firing Wade, and maybe there was some pride there in that situation. I don't know the full ins and outs, but there was obviously a disconnect. And then when you see the way he publicly embarrassed Woodward in that press conference, it was extremely personal. And so that to me is when it's now different than just hiring and firing based on job performance. Because look, is it good PR that Scott Woodward's been connected to 2 buyouts that amass $120 million? No, it's not good PR. It's a bad look when the 2 biggest buyouts in the sport technically were hires by the same guy. Now, the ins and outs of it, where it wasn't really Woodward that created the buyout for Jimbo, also wasn't Woodward that fired Jimbo.
You can't put him on the
PRs.
You literally can't put him on the hook for that. Ross Bjork is the one that extended him, and everybody's run with this narrative that it was Scott that did it. It was going to be a very palatable firing if they wanted to. He got extended after the COVID year, and that's what made it this impossibly large buyout. At the end of his tenure, when Scott Woodward made that contract, it would have been $7.5 million. That's the way it was working out. And so and when you look at what it looks like today, that's a very amicable buyout, right? As opposed to $73 million? That the way that this whole thing has been spun, and like you said, if you lay it out from the jump, this thing has been in motion, and just because, and this is what I hate the most about it, it literally has come down to the most rudimentary things that's why politics are dumb. It's left and right or red and blue, and that's what it comes down to. Like, he doesn't like the fact that Scott Woodward is a Democrat and he's a Republican. And then you have Scott Woodward obviously feels very much the same way about him. Like, it can go both ways, but if you look at what Scott had done in totality at LSU, how could you say he did a bad job? Like, you're on the hook for a Brian Kelly contract? Okay, look at A&M. They had to pay a bigger buyout, and then you have $53 million, quote unquote, that you continually are trying to, I guess, whittle that number down. But guess who was going to help whittle that number down? Or if you can't, who was going to fundraise for it? Scott Woodward. Like, he grew up in this game. He's from Baton Rouge, went to LSU, and would die for this university. Guess who did neither of those two things?
No, I know the answer.
Jeff Landry.
I think the biggest knock on Scott Woodward is that he took a big swing. Like, the Kelly thing's not on Scott. The Brian Kelly.
It's on Brian Kelly.
Played out is on Brian Kelly, and he's been fired for that. Like what Scott Woodward did was took a big swing, paid money to go get the sitting Notre Dame head football coach to come to LSU. He at that time was had the most active wins of a head coach. That is a big swing. And so if the biggest knock is that you're taking big swings and making big moves, and the other guy, like, when you look at it genuinely, it was Brian Kelly's fault that it didn't work out. And so that's where I sit today of looking at this Scott Woodward situation. Obviously, the writing's been on the wall. And at the same time, when you saw the way the press conference went down the other day, there was no way Woodward gets kept or stays through that after the way that played out. And I just think when you look at Woodward's time at LSU, obviously the Kelly hire will reign the biggest. where it's football. That's the one that brings in the money. That's the big. If you're the AD at LSU, you're recognized by your football hire. And his was not a successful one, but it wasn't on him. When I look at it, he took a big swing, went and got Brian Kelly, gave Kelly every single resource to be successful. Like that's where my standpoint on this Kelly situation is that as much as it's a bad look, maybe publicly and a PR standpoint of having to pay this buyout, and like you said, even though it's not him at A&M, he's the one that gets grouped in with it. It's not his fault it didn't work out. He took a big swing, got the really a coach that no one thought was available, who has the most active wins coming into LSU, and gave him every resource to be successful, and he wasn't successful. And that's on the coach. It's not on Woodward. And so I think, could he have maybe done a little more research and digging into Kelly, and maybe some things would have come to light? I don't know. That's kind of, that's nitpicking a little bit. And then to follow that up, just some of the other hires he's made. I mean, I'll just name two of them, Jay Johnson and Kelvin Shepard. That's 3 national championships in what, 3 years? They both win in 2023, and baseball comes back and wins in 2025. You had a gymnastics national championship. When you look at the situation, and I know football is the one. Football is where the money's made. Men's basketball is the one right behind it. Those two are the ones that bring in the profit. And so it really comes down to those two jobs. And as of right now, those two aren't in a very good spot. And so I understand that thought process, but at the same time, you got 2 other head coaches that were hired by this guy, Kim Mulkey, who didn't even go to the press conference after the game, the exhibition last night, because she was heartbroken, said Bob Starkey. He sat there and said, Coach Mulkey's not here because she's heartbroken by the news. And so when I look at this situation as a whole, I'm not surprised by the firing of Scott Woodward. But I am not for it, because I think that one thing Scott Woodward does is one thing Scott Woodward was and who he is, he had LSU's best interest in every single decision he made. Now, whether you agree with that or not, whether you look at the $53 million buyout and say, how can you have LSU's best interest when you're doing that? And just to break that down, the way he had LSU's best interest is when the program was in shambles, which LSU football was in shambles in 2021. He went and got the winningest active coach, the Notre Dame sitting head football coach, to come and build this program back up to where it is now, where you can win 10 games a season and you can be competitive on an SEC football field in a way you weren't at the end of O's tenure. And so he went and did that, and it falls on BK that it didn't work out, because he gave Brian Kelly every single resource to be successful. When BK came in and made the wrong decisions, who do you think were the geniuses in the room that put together the thought process of bringing Corey and Blake and Austin Thomas and these guys back? It's people that know the program, like Frank Wilson and Scott Woodward. These guys have these conversations. They're like, this is what needs to happen to fix this, to solve these issues that have been caused by Brian Kelly. And so you bring back these pieces, and you gave Kelly every reason to be successful, and he wasn't. That doesn't fall on Scott. So I'm not a fan of the firing of Scott Woodward. And I don't think that Scott Woodward's going to be viewed publicly as this athletic director that nobody should touch. I don't know if you're another school in the country, how you don't look at what Woodward's done and say, well, we need a boost in some sort. But my biggest thing is that I know Scott Woodward had LSU's best interest in mind every time he made a decision.
And if you
he wanted what's best for LSU.
And you have to think of the ripple effect of Kim Mulkey's not pleased with this decision. What does that do for Jay Johnson? What does that do for the gymnastics coach? This has a ripple effect throughout LSU athletics that it may not be done yet. The water is still dripping towards you, because there's a man with an axe to grind against may it be it's just to get Scott Woodward, and and Seville said it best, like this is a personal vendetta that he has, and that's like you can't let those things cost you what it's costing you because you want attention and you want to use LSU as a pedestal for your next run, like for your whatever it's called, whenever you try to be governor again, your re-election campaign. And buddy, I don't know who's in Jeff Landry's PR corner, but he needs to know that this is not working in his favor. Like none of this is going the way he wants it to, and he is totally, as much as he wants to say he's not involved, and he keeps pointing to the board of supervisors, all the people that he appointed, by the way, and then what was he kowtowing about when we talk about on the Pat McAfee show how he hangs onto a clause in the contract that has never once come to fruition, where it's on the taxpayers' dollar for the $53 million buyout. Like that's going to come from the Louisiana public. Whenever every buyout ever has always been done by private money and private donors, but he hangs on to a clause that goes so far as to put it on Twitter and highlight the clause like, buddy, we're all on fucking chapter 2 here. Like, get with the program. We know more about this than you do, and so don't try to shit my hand and call it gold, because that's not what we're doing here. Like, we know how LSU football operates. We know how LSU athletics operates more than you do. So you're just basically you're telling the truth, but it's not what happens. Like, sure, there's a clause in there that could be the end result, but it's never happened. And if you're LSU and if you're the private donations and the people that actually have the money, half of me would say, go ahead, actually do it. I'm not fixing your mess. I'm tired of cleaning up after other people.
Yeah, and I think if you were to try to find the positivity in this entire situation, because right now, and like I talked about yesterday, there was alignment that was missing when you looked at this situation after that press conference. When you looked at the LSU situation, you didn't see alignment in this job. If you were to be the head football coach, and obviously that hire's not going to be made until down the line, you were lacking alignment because there is no president. There was an AD that wasn't making the hire and a governor that didn't lie. All these dynamics at play. If you were going to look on the positive side of it, it would be that through this next week and moving forward, you're hoping to see some alignment come to fruition. Obviously, a presidential hire will be made next week, Tuesday. I think that's the 4th. Will be the day that appears to be announced or decided. I've said it throughout the week that I think Wade Roos, the president over at McNeese, is the direction they're going to go. And once you get the president in the job, his first order of business is going to be an athletic director. And so I've given you the laydown, and it goes governor, board of supervisors to president, AD, head coach. That's the dynamic. And right now you have a governor, board of supervisors, you hire a president, they bring in their AD, and there's been a couple names that are out there, and two that I think are really strongly in the race would be Josh Brooks over at Georgia, because he's from Hammond, went to LSU before going to Georgia for grad school, has had jobs at ULM, and so he's obviously from here. He's got Louisiana ties, and you've seen all the reports. That's going to play a pretty strong role in this decision. So I think Josh Brooks is in the mix, and I think if you're hiring Wade Roos as your president, then Heath Schroyer is in the mix, who's McNeese's athletic director. And so I think when you look at these situations, if in 2 weeks, 3 weeks, a month, you have a president and an AD, there's a little more alignment, so at least whoever's out there knows the situation they're getting into. And so if you're able to get the president hire, have some movement on where you go from an athletic director standpoint, and then put out a good product on the football field next Saturday and the Saturdays to come after that, you can at least be in a position where there's some positivity around this job, because right now there's not. As you see, this was an image put out by William Tate, by the former president of Louisiana State University, who's now at Rutgers, He puts this out, and I think most people know that it's an ode to the wire, and can really get the understanding of what he's trying to say. Just if you've seen the show, I think you can put it together.
Well, and it's double entendre because Omar coming. Like, this is where this whole thing started. A goddamn tiger.
The curse of Omar reigns strong here in Baton Rouge. So
But that's how you know, like,
with a positive out.
that's how you know, like, the wheels were set in place by that. Like, he has been toppling LSU one domino at a time. This house of cards he's trying to build, but it was an empire. LSU, as it was formally constructed, was going to get you there. Like, all you had to do was, like, you got sold a bill of goods with Brian Kelly. Like, he got the job. He didn't care about it. It wasn't a good fit. Like, yes, that lies at the feet of Scott Woodward for making the hire, but everything on paper made a ton of sense. Like, even I, who was staunchly against it as soon as it happened, we did a live show with Jordy whenever he was on, and I was as angry as I've ever been. And he talked me off the ledge a bit by saying, like, look, this is what LSU needs at the time, somebody to come in. Because when you think about it, it was, look at who's won national championships at LSU and look at the guy that's actually proven to be brought in here. I mean, you could be on a dynastic run, and it turns out to be the total opposite. And so I see that, look, he got lied to. That's it, is what it is. You got to be a judge of character at some point. You got to do your vetting, all of that. But you also have to give some sort of credence to him that I'm sure his voice was very strongly in the room as well in terms of, we got to cut this thing off at the tip. Like, this is over. Cut the head off the snake. Let's rebuild from here. And then it becomes, oh, you're next. So you're seeing Landry topple the president, the AD, all which leads to him being the only person in the room that has actual power, and for him to continue to put it on the Board of Supervisors when he appointed the majority of that room and will continue to have people in that room, it's a farce, man. And not only that, what is the big selling point? The buyout that the Louisiana people are going to have to pay? Who's paying for this one? You owe Scott $6 million. Where's that going to come from? The Louisiana taxpayer?
No, I mean, look, I think that it's all.
You just did the thing that you were bitching about.
It's politics. Like, that's literally what this is. It is all political, and that's where my concern lies, is that every aspect of this situation LSU football is in right now is political. All of it. And I know Louisiana politics always play a factor. I'm not going to be naive to the fact and say that LSU sports have just been separate from politics for all these years, for my entire life in this golden era of LSU football. I know that's not the case, but it is so abundantly obvious that it's all politically charged. Everything that's going on at LSU is politically charged, while you have a vacant head coaching spot. And so I just think when you look at, obviously Woodward needs to be held accountable and responsible for the Brian Kelly hire. I mean, he made the hire, it didn't work out. And so as much as I blame that on BK more than Scott still cut the check and made the decision. Like, it still falls on Scott. But to me, that's not the reason why he was fired. He wasn't fired because he made a bad football hire. He was fired because of the way things played out and disagreements and butting heads, and to have a different guy in there that was on the same page. And whether you view that positively or negatively, I'm not going to make that decision for you. But my biggest pushback against firing Scott Woodward is that I know Scott Woodward had LSU's best in mind every single time he made a decision. It wasn't about Scott Woodward. It was about LSU. I mean, he went to Catholic high school. He graduated from LSU. He came back and worked at LSU in the early 2000s. Like, he loves this university and these programs. And he had LSU's best at heart and on his mind every time he made a decision. And that's where I'm upset in this situation, is that I know that LSU had a guy that cared more about LSU. We talk about the program being bigger than anybody. Woodward knew that. And so as much as he needs to be held responsible for hiring a head football coach and guaranteeing him $100 million and it not working, because that's a big blemish on your resume at LSU. That's a big blemish on your time at LSU. I understand that he needs to be held responsible for it. But my hang up is that I don't think he was fired for that. And on top of that, I know he has LSU's best in mind. And whether that means he handled everything perfectly, if he was meddling in what BK was doing, if he had too close of an eye on it, I know.
I would rather him have an eye on it than Jeff Landry. Like if somebody's gonna hold LSU athletics accountable, I'd like it to be the athletics director. And you can say that, yeah, sure, but Tom, our boy Tom Granning, shout out, get you a turkey, Tom. If there's anything you can get in this trying time to make the soul feel a little better, it'd be a turkey, Tom. Anything you want from Wordos, but he said also that contract has to be approved. Approved by whom? The Board of Supervisors. That's how this thing works. And this is all very easy to break down because if he thinks he's being like playing chess, brother, you're playing Connect 4. Like, this is not a very hard game to figure out. One of your biggest donors wanted Will Wade to come back, and it felt like that was not the move or the general direction LSU wanted to go, whether that be Scott Woodward or the Board of Supervisors, which that's where there was also butting heads because I believe one of his biggest donors, that same man, is on the Board of Supervisors. But once it came down to that, it became, I'm going to lose a donor if I don't make a move on the LSU athletics director, and those two things should not be tied together about your political charged vendetta and you come swinging axes at LSU because that's the biggest dick in the room. So you're saying, well, if I take him out, maybe it's me. It's not, but that's what he did. He wanted to make a splash, get his name in the news because he's addicted to himself. And now, like, you don't say, exactly like you laid it out, you don't say, it's not about me. I don't make the musha. Look, I don't want to be involved. It's about the taxpayer. No, brother. You're making this about yourself when you go on Pat McAfee and then you find time again to go on 104.5 and talk to Matt Moscona about it and then deflect and do the exact same dog and pony show that I just heard. Like, you're just saying, you're reciting lines at this point and nobody believes you, but I guess self-belief is the best belief you can have because he thinks this is working, and regardless if people believe him or not, it's already happened.
Right. And that's where LSU is. And I was listening to Whitworth talk about the LSU coaching position and the hiring process on his podcast with Ryan Fitzpatrick the other day. And one of his points was, hey, let's get guys that understand football and coaching and have been around these guys in the room to help with these decisions, not just money guys. So getting away from just the boosters having a say and allowing football guys to be a part of this decision-making process. And I really I loved the idea. Like, no, please. Andrew Whitworth had been in the NFL for 1 million years, has been around every single type of coach you could have. I'd love to have his advice on who the next guy would be. Because if there's anybody that knows coaching, it's probably Andrew Whitworth because he's had 1 million of them. And no offense to Big Wit, but I would love to have those guys in the room. I loved seeing all of those former players in the facility yesterday. Jacob Hester taught like that. That's how LSU should operate. But right now, we're moving maybe even farther away from those people being in the decision-making process and moving more towards politics being a part of it. And like I said, I don't enjoy the fact that we've spent 45 minutes this morning talking politics, but that's the position where LSU's in right now. And I'm excited to get through this weekend. Hopefully it's a smooth one. I don't know what I'm banking on for that to happen, but hopefully it's just a smooth, calm, quiet weekend on the LSU football front. I don't know. Maybe I'm just naive to think that can happen. And get into next week where there's a football game on the horizon. You hire a president. You get ready for LSU football as they travel to Tuscaloosa. Because on the positive front, on the actual LSU football front specifically, if you didn't see it yesterday, they had LSU legends in the building. And I talked to Rowe after the fact because he was one of those LSU legends that got to be in the facility. And he said it felt so good to be back in that building and to be able to talk to those guys and see those guys, and he was beyond excited to be there. And he gave a great speech talking to the boys on the team, talking about having the guy next to you, and that what all you need is to your left, to your right, in front of you, and behind you. It's the guys on the in the jersey with you, and it's the coaches on the sideline for you. And I thought Rowe put it together eloquently. I also thought the speech that Jacob Hester gave was excellent. And that's where I guess my joy comes from right now when I'm talking about LSU and the current standing, is the fact that you got those guys back in the building, and that helps promote the positivity around this program and helps show what is special about this job. And it's that you have guys like Jacob Hester and Rohan Davey and Kevin Falk and Steve Ensminger and Matt Flynn, and go down the list of the guys that were in that building yesterday. That's what makes this job different and special. And look at this picture. This is what makes LSU LSU. And so if I'm going to talk about where my joy comes from in the situation, it's this right here. It's that the LSU football program is being put back in a place where it belongs. The culture it is being brought back in that building, and it was good to see Rowe and back in that building with those guys, because obviously we have a very good relationship with Rowan, and I know how much he enjoys being in that building around those guys, and he loves LSU. And when you can get guys like Rowe, like Hester, like Flynn, that when you cut them open, they will bleed purple and gold. When you can get them back in that building, it's different. And so that's my positivity right now, is that is once again showing off why this job is special, why this place is different, is because you can have those guys around the building at any time, and it will always be with LSU's best at heart and on their mind. And that was my same hang up with the Woodward firing, is that I felt similarly about him that I do about those guys and get to talk to the team, is that I know, especially with Rohan personally, he loves LSU the same way you and I do, the same way all of you watching do. And so when they can be back in the building, when it's literally for nothing but the benefit of this program, it brings me so much joy.
And here's Rohan speaking to the team.
Everything you guys need is right here in this room. Everything that you guys need to be successful has already been given to you. Change comes, man. Change happens. And this is nothing but a preparation for you when you guys get ready to go on to where you're going in your NFL career, or simply in life, as a father, as a business owner, wherever the good Lord sends you. The most important part during this time, in my opinion, is for you guys to band together. The guys behind me, the coaches that you guys have here now, the guys that you are with right now, when you look to your right, look to your left, look in the front, and look in the back of you, that's all you goddamn need. That's all you need for anything that you're going to do from here going forward. Everything.
No, that's my guy right there. Rowe, and he's 1,000% right. That's been the culture of LSU for decades. It's the guy next to you. It's bigger than just you, and that's the energy that LSU's been missing, is because there was a guy in charge that literally thought he was bigger than LSU. And so to be back in a place where that mindset is brought back of LSU is bigger than just me. It's bigger than me getting sacked and laying on the ground. It's bigger than me, getting a wrong read and over-rushing the court. It's bigger than that, and I need to get back, and I will die on this field for the guy next to me. Because Rowe's right. Everything that you need in life is right there next to you in that room, and Rowe's a great example of it. Very obviously in touch with guys that he played with. You can see it just from the stuff he does with us, where on Saturdays, Kevin Falk, who was his big brother when he got to LSU, his guy, his host, his best friend, and then they end up in New England together, like a guy that he loves, and that's a part of these outside of football, outside of LSU things. There's a guy that he met at LSU with Jeremy Lawrence. These guys that he's brought onto our platform, thank you, Rowe, it is because of LSU.
Well, look at the people you just laid out: Kevin Falk, Rohan Davey, Rohan, from Jamaica to Florida to Baton Rouge, guess where he picked to live? Baton Rouge. Right here.
Baton Rouge, Louisiana.
In the boot. Brian Kelly gets fired. Yeah. Guess where he tucks tail and goes back to? Massachusetts. Like, that's the difference because, like, okay, that's your home, but that's the part of, and even on a grander scale, like, yeah, that's where Brian Kelly feels comfortable. Where do people want to be where they feel like they are most comfortable, well-loved, well-liked, and can always go back to, or just say, I'm staying. Like, you've seen this on the LSU baseball front, where Paul Skeens comes back, where Tommy White comes back. Dylan Cruz is always here. Like, they've made this place their home away from home, and that isn't going away anytime soon. Because, like, even if you were to say Coach O, like, he's like, I still have my house in Baton Rouge. Like, that all of that is to, and that's for one reason. It's for LSU. Like, if without that, they wouldn't be here. They wouldn't feel the same way about the place, because outside of LSU athletics, not a whole lot going on, but you do have one thing that makes it special, and that's what, I guess that's where to play, like, I guess the opposite. That's why, like, my heart hurts for this thing, because it's getting absolutely railroaded by somebody that has no business doing it. And at the end of the day, Jeff Landry will not be coaching the team, but that's where I lead my next question to get it and keep it on athletics is, how much do you think this does impact? Because you laid it out, LSU, before all of this. I mean, it couldn't be more LSU. I've lived this so many times in my life, and I'm not that old. And it's one of the best jobs, premier job in the country. But you continually to make it seem like, why would you don't have to make, if you say nothing, people are lining up. You could have a conversation with anyone to come here, but then you have that somebody that's acting out of his jurisdiction, I'll say, and I know what he's allowed to do, but this is outside of his purview of what he's supposed to be doing, and he's actively going after agents. Who do you think represents the big dog coaches? One person, and you're actively throwing his name in the mud, and you're trying to change college athletics. You're trying to change, like, you think you're going to be the voice of reason, mate. You're going to be the one that changes the way deals have been done forever. That's a hard mountain to move. Like, even McAfee was like, look, that train has left the station, pal. Like, that's impossible to do, to try to, and you're actively undercutting the program by saying, why not offer an incentive-based contract? Nobody wants that. You know who wants that even less than a coach? An agent. I'm not getting paid on per diem. And so when you're trying to pull somebody from a different place that is offering you guaranteed money, what makes that job, what makes LSU attractive other than the fact that it's LSU and you're actively tarnishing that as well?
No, I agree. I think it's going to be very interesting to see how these things play out. And I think that it has been just so politically charged. And like Brian Burgess said in the chat, that it's all political posturing. 100%. That's what it is.
He isn't just blowing smoke. He's firing people.
I don't want that around my head. Well, technically, he's not. It's his portion.
Fuck that.
But I don't want that around my football hire when it's a vacant job. And so to look on the positive side of things, there hopefully will be some alignment moving forward where it will become a more attractive job when you have some people in some important positions. Like, you get a president hire, you get an athletic director, then you're actually in a position where someone can look at the job and say, okay, I see the deal. Because right now, that's what's missing, is the alignment aspect of it. And so once you get these guys in position, you can at least look and see the LSU job as somewhere where you understand the dynamic. Because 24 hours ago you didn't, because you still had an athletic director that was hired that wasn't going to be making hirings, and it was just kind of a mess. So if you can do that, and then as well you roll over into what's done on the football field, that can bring some positivity to the spot. And I think as much as we say it, I think it's still true in this situation that the LSU program is bigger than one man. And that's the hope I'm holding on to right now, that continues to ring true, and that LSU can regardless of how things are going politically and what the political charge is and posturing and all of those things around this, LSU is bigger, can be bigger than that, and should be. And when you look at what's in the building right now, that's where my positivity lies. And like I said, I don't know if Frank being the head coach is what's best for LSU, because I want Frank a part of this program forever. But he would bring me confidence in where LSU's headed, especially in this situation. I don't know what direction they're going to go or what's going to happen. But trying to find the positives and the bright spots is the fact that you've got a football program that's got a game next Saturday that's moving in the right direction from a mentality standpoint, and you can maybe have some alignment coming soon. You've got the guys back in the building to bring the energy back. And just speaking of some of those former guys that I sent, I direct messaged it to the Twitter page on the laptop. The Kelvin Shepard, he met with the media yesterday. I don't know if anyone saw the clip of him talking about LSU and about the position. It was a beautiful collection of words and emotion and passion, like similar to a Frank press conference when he talked about LSU. He even used the term Liger, which I loved, because obviously he's still trying to placate to the Lions because he loves the Lions, but he's a Tiger at heart. And if you thought that Kelvin Shepard wouldn't work here, and I don't know why you would think, and I mean, I guess I do know why you could think that is because he's never been a head coach, but talking about having people around that want LSU's best at heart and on their mind, Kelvin Shepard's one of those guys. That clip was awesome, listening to him talk about LSU and his love for it is also just an example of how different this place is than anywhere else, and because that's exactly what LSU is.
I believe this is the clip here. I haven't been able to preview it, but this is the one that I found when I searched Kelvin Shepard LSU.
Have you kept up with what's going on with LSU, and what does that school team in the SEC, what do they kind of need in their next head coach?
Honestly, I've kept up with them. That's my alma mater. I keep up with them every year, every week. When you cut me open, I kind of tell people, because this thing's running right now, you cut me open, I'm not going to lie to you and say I'm all I know. I've spent 5 years, well, 6 if you include the year coaching down there. That place molded me into the man that I am today and still becoming. You cut me open, I'm a liger. I think that's what they call it. Half lion, half tiger. But you know, that school expects championships, and they should. We hosted a trophy when I was there. They hosted one after I left there. The standard down there, just like we've created the standard here through hard work, through what you put out there, is championships. It's not just being around, it's not being competitive, and it's not winning. We should win. That's what we put ourselves in position to do over the course of time. It's championships, and that school deserves that. That fan base deserves that, and I know the people down there in place will make sure that happens moving forward.
Be clear, are you interested in that job at all? Your name has been bandied about for the LSU job.
I can't be interested in something I have no idea about. So, you know, I'm interested in beating the Minnesota Vikings. I'm tasked with another Tiger this week in Justin Jefferson, since we're on a Tiger conversation. And that's a tall one. He's one of the LSU greats. So that's what I'm interested in. I'm interested in seeing us come off this bye week and stop cutting ourselves short of the potential, I believe, who we could be as a defense and as a team. It's time to make this final push, and it starts with us limiting points.
I mean, it's right in front of you.
I mean, Lord have mercy. Like I said, I genuinely couldn't have said it better myself. I thought it was excellent the way Kelvin put it together. And you can see the passion and the love. And so the biggest thing I got from that is all the people that say that, oh, he's not going to leave the NFL Listen to that press conference and tell me you think that man's, if the job was offered, he's going to say, nah, I'm stay in the NFL. You just said you cut him open, he's a liger, and if anything, you cut him open, he's a tiger.
I'm not going to say too much, but I do believe that. I think he said it himself very much that he would have interest, but you know what it takes for him to be able to even garner interest is the offer. He has to at least get a phone call, and I don't know how that's going to take place. At this point, I don't know which direction LSU will go, and I think the more you see of Kelvin Shepard, the more you see him speak, the more people are going to recognize that I see both sides of it. You want people who are against now hiring a coach that is proven it, a proven head coach that has done it before. Like, they're looking for this mix that doesn't exist of, I mean, it may be one person in Lane Kiffin that is a proven head coach that's still young and understands the landscape of college football. Outside of that, you're not getting Dan Lanning. You're not pulling from those trees because Oregon's not letting him leave, and he's building his legacy there. You're not getting Kirby Smart. You're not getting Nick Saban. So quit with all that. If it's not Lane, bring in somebody that absolutely understands from the heartbeat to the fingers to the toes of what LSU is, and look at this isn't a farce, man. Like, we had Bryce Kuhn come on, and he covered Georgia Tech, knows that entire program. Jahmyr Gibbs was there when Bryce Kuhn was covering them. He talked to Jahmyr Gibbs about Kelvin Shepard, and he said, I would die for him. It was one of those where, there's no bullshit with Shep Dog. You know what you're getting, and there's a standard of performance, and that's on the other side of the football. He's like, I hate going up against this defense every day. And that's somebody that you can talk to anyone, man. Talk to Jared Mitchell. Look at Brandon Taylor. These guys that understand, they didn't go into the coaching profession. Shep did. He's a middle linebacker from LSU that, if offered the job, would probably take it. And he's not really mincing words when you hear him speak about it. He's not saying, I would never leave Detroit. All he says is, I can't speak on things that I don't know about. So, learn him. Let him know.
Yeah, no. Look, and I think I was talking to Sean Fox about on his radio show yesterday. He was asking about the direction they'll go. I was like, it comes down to who LSU thinks they are in this hiring process. If they think or where LSU thinks they are. Because when I look at Shep, I think of it similar to a Clark Lee at Vanderbilt, where you get a guy that's worn the uniform, has died out on that field for you, and loves the university in a way that you only truly can when you've put your all into it. The way Clark Lee did at Vandy, he was a fullback for the Commodores and has come back and loves that place in a way that only he can. A way that he can only love Vanderbilt. I would love Clark. I'm a fan of Clark Lee, and if they hire Clark Lee, I won't be mad. But I know he can't love LSU the same way he loves Vanderbilt because it's different. And so when I look at Shep, it's a case of that man loves this place and will die for this place. And so, look, I don't know the direction they're going to go in the hiring process. I think Lane Kiffin was obviously the name that is everywhere. But looking at Shep, there's a part of me that thinks that's exactly what LSU football needs.
Yeah.
When you're talking about building a culture and a program, and obviously you need to put the right guys around them. There'd be a huge premium on getting a good offensive coordinator. It would be of the utmost importance. It might just be exactly what LSU needs. I just don't know if LSU does it. I don't know if that's the process that they're going to go with. Looking at this job, if they think that they would be settling for a guy that's never been a head football coach. But when I listen to him speak, it's not settling. But in my mind, I just don't foresee LSU hiring a guy that's got no head coaching experience, regardless of the intangibles and all of those things. It's something that I don't know if LSU will accept that they might be in the position to do that, because when I look at LSU right now, you might be in the position where you have to do that. The landscape has changed, and as well, I think LSU is still a big-time job. there are people that will stay in places that they're comfortable because of the mindset of that you can maybe not perform that well and be fired within 3 years. Like or 4 years. Like it's as much as it's like, and I look at it, I'm like, no, LSU cares about winning. Other places might look at it and be like, other people might look at it and be like, I might not be built for that. And so LSU might be in a position where you have to. I just don't think that LSU will make the move for a first-time head football coach. But if they were going to, the answer is one name. I mean, that guy loves LSU in a way that you can only love LSU if you've put your life and body on the line for those two colors and those three letters. And so, shout out to Kelvin Shepard, and man, I tell you one thing, I would be, and it's fired up because I think when you listen to the way he spoke, and now watching him, like in these clips like these, like that's exactly the mindset, the mentality, and the culture that LSU needs back, that they are lacking. And so if you think that LSU's lacking culture, needs to bring that culture back, who better than this? And the way if you haven't seen the Lions Hard Knocks, go watch that, because he's a leader. He's a leader. He's awesome, man. And I think he is qualified. I just don't know if LSU does it. It goes and gets a guy that's never been a head football coach. When I think that there's a mindset that there's other guys out there that they can make a move for. So I love Kelvin Shepard. He's number 2 on my list for head football coach. If you didn't see us put out the top 5 video on our social media, go check that out, where me and Lloyd listed out 5 names where we thought this thing could go. Obviously, I think like landing is far-fetched, and so to me it would come down to, can you get Kiffin? And if you can't, I'm looking at Shep and I'm like, bring this culture and this mentality back to Louisiana State University football, because it is needed.
Well, and the way you've painted LSU is not LSU. The way LSU has been painted into a corner. Look, Shep's on a 1-year deal with the Detroit Lions. You're negotiating against an NFL team at this point. You don't think they're going to bring him back or have interest in bringing him back as the defensive coordinator? I would contend they absolutely do, because of what they've done. And it's been, you had their last defensive coordinator go get a head coaching job with the New York Jets. And so this is a career move for him that would be leaving the NFL when he's going to have a contract offer in the NFL. And the only reason he would do it is because of his love for LSU and to be like a legacy. And I've said this before, I'll say it again, the way that college football is trending, like people keep saying Kenny Dillingham. That's like trying to pry Kelvin Shepard from LSU. Like, they're not leaving, man. That man went to school there, and he's building something at the place that he loves the most. That you can't put a dollar amount on that. It's just not. The same thing with Clark Lee. You can't put a dollar amount on that. He wants it to be Vanderbilt. He'll die there. That's what he wants to build. Like, sure, it'd be cool to build. Like, I could go to a place. Like, that's not the way they're operating now. Whenever you have resources at these places that anybody can be a contender if you have the money right, why not here? It's no longer stepping stone jobs if you're in the right place or if you have the ability to coach. They will pour money into you. But you almost are painting yourself into a corner where it would have to be someone that loves LSU the way Kelvin Shepard does. And there's 2 people, and I could give you one guess who the other one is, and his name was mentioned also, and that is where we are.
Right, and so we'll see. Obviously, 8 a.m. this morning, the press conference is being held, I believe, introducing Verge as the interim athletic director. And it was also 7 a.m. here in Denver where I'm at. And Lloyd, you challenged me when I got on my flight to get the guy next to me to subscribe, and I pulled it off. I got us a new subscriber yesterday on my flight from Baton Rouge to Denver. We were hung up in the air traffic control hold, and he said, he was like, what do you do for work? And I was like, oh, allow me to show you. So I pulled it up, and he opens up the Instagram page. He was a younger guy. He opens up the Instagram page. He was like, he was from India. He's here for school. He was at UL for school, and he was going on a bachelor trip himself. And he was like, well, you're officially. He said I was officially the most famous person he met in his time in the States. And I was like, oh,
there we go.
Thank you. And then he subscribed. He subscribed to the channel. So I met your challenge, Lloyd, and I made it happen. And I appreciate everybody tuning in with us this morning. And Lloyd, thank you very much for getting over to the studio, getting it fired up, and making this work this morning.
Oh, absolutely, brother. Wouldn't have missed it. But it's so funny that we were like, I mean, you called it. You're like, I don't know. Why wouldn't something happen? And this litany of news, it just feels like one thing after. Like, I don't know if there's anything left. Like, at least we know that they're going to announce the president. The next thing, I guess, would be AD. But,
right.
Or more heads roll, I guess. I mean, he can do whatever he wants. He's got the dick of a 1,000-pound gorilla right now. He's just throwing that thing around. It's just that you can't stop him. So I guess anybody can get it. I don't know how much he wants to dig his own grave, but I would certainly love to see LSU get some news on the positive front. And football can't come fast enough. I would not have said that last Saturday.
Right. No, I think you cannot get me to next week getting ready for Alabama fast enough. I'm ready for that to be the talking points of this show, and rather than
I bet he fucking goes to that game.
I've not enjoyed the last 3 hours.
Why don't you try to get it? Why don't you try to go to Alabama? Why don't you just go try to put an elephant on the field? Go find another task. Go do something else. Like go focus your eyes, both of them at the same time, on that.
And so I'm excited to get back to football next week for sure. And Frank Wilson, Rohan Davey, Jacob Hester, and Kelvin Shepard have got me fired up from that standpoint of getting ready to get back to some football because it's huge. And so the next steps for LSU next week, obviously you will hear the president announcement next week. I think most people will agree and most know that the expectation is Wade Ruge getting that job, the current McNeese president, getting the nod as the new LSU president. And then after that, the athletic director will be hired down the line. I don't know what the timeline will be on that, but I mean, it can happen quickly, especially if, kind of like we've said with Scott, this isn't a surprise firing. This isn't like something where this just happened and or separation. And so I think the names to look out for there are Josh Brooks at Georgia, Louisiana guy, SEC athletic director, and then Heath Schroyer, who was Bruce's guy at McNeese, obviously Louisiana ties as well. And we'll see where it goes, but there will be some news next week. And on top of that, we will enjoy some LSU football next Saturday live from Golf Suites in Baton Rouge. So I will shine some light on that once again next Saturday night. LSU, Alabama in Tuscaloosa. We will be live from the bar in Golf Suites off Segan Lane in Baton Rouge with some LSU legends as well. And we want that place to be packed, jumping, because the excitement around LSU football on the field is back in a place where it had not been the last two games. And so if you are excited for LSU versus Alabama, we want to see you in Golf Suites Saturday night in Golf Suites, LSU, Alabama, a week from tomorrow.
I want it to look like this.
Joining us. Go ahead.
I want it to look like this.
Oh, that's exactly what I want Golf Suites to look like next Saturday. LSU, Alabama, with a newfound energy around this LSU football program. I appreciate everybody joining us. Sorry we're going to get out of here a little early, but it's very early for me, and we're going to get to this. I guess this Denver, Colorado life, whatever that holds for the next 48 hours. But I appreciate everybody tuning in. And Lloyd, once again, I appreciate you, sir.
Oh, thank you, sir. Also, happy birthday to one Nick Saban, the Michael Myers of college football.
Yeah, it's Halloween, isn't it?
It is. Spooky season.
Happy Halloween, everyone.
Happy Halloween.
Yes,
Trick
happy Halloween.
or
What's
treat.
everybody dressing up as?
The governor.
Well,
Because I guess anybody can play pretend if you really believe it. But let's not. I'm just gonna throw it out there. I mean, Scott Woodward doesn't have a job. Why not run for governor?
We'll see.
Beat you at your own game. You thought this was fun, didn't you?
I'm going to stay out. I think I'm drawing the line here politically. I think
Me too. I'm done with it.
Political show. I'm done. Let's get back to football, please.
I'm going to run for governor.
Basketball and baseball and men's basketball. Just get something on the politics, please. I didn't sign up for this.
I'm running for governor. What do you have to do? Is that it? All you have to do is announce it?
I have no idea. Don't ask me.
I've got 3 years to get my shit together.
But happy Halloween, everybody. Happy
Anybody
Halloween,
can do it.
Lloyd.
Happy Halloween.
Hey, between the lines, anybody can get it.
Anybody can get it. I appreciate you, Dover, for
Well, I
waking up.
appreciate
I know
y'all.
it was we rung the bell early, and it's been an arduous, I guess, 36 hours. So I appreciate you, even on a bachelor trip. I know that if I were in your shoes, this would not have happened.
I appreciate you. Thank you very much. Thank you all for tuning in and hanging out with us this morning. We'll be back Monday morning, 7 to 9 a.m.
Lick.